Hey there, I'm Amanda Hesser. I am co-founder of Food52.com. We are a cooking and home company based here in New York City, and I am in my home kitchen in Brooklyn Heights, where I am here for cooking in pajamas because I have been spending a lot of my time cooking in pajamas, and I'm guessing maybe you too. And I'm really excited today to show you a pantry meal that is a recipe from our site from one of our community members named Savor This, and it is called cracker eggs, and it is literally just crackers and eggs and butter, and it is fantastic. It has become my new favorite pantry meal, and I'm gonna get going and show you how to do it. So you want to have a non-stick pan at the ready. You want to get that on medium-low heat so you can melt some butter. And I'm going to use about a tablespoon of butter. Now, if you want, you can probably use oil. I haven't tried it with oil, but I often cook eggs in olive oil and like to. So I think that could probably work well. I have 2 eggs cracked into a bowl, and I put them into a wide, shallow bowl because we're going to be dipping the crackers into them. So I'm going to give them a little whisk with a fork. You can use a whisk if you like, or one of those little mini whisks. I just like to use a good old dinner fork. So, giving that a light whisk, and now I'm going to season it with salt and pepper. Now there's an important detail. If you're going to be using a cracker that's very salty, you probably don't want to add too much salt. Like I'm using Triscuits, which have a fair amount of salt on them. So I'm just going to add a little touch of salt, and now I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. And give that a good whisk. So let's get to the crackers. So you probably have some crackers in your cabinet, I'm guessing. And you can use pretty much any cracker you like. I wouldn't go too like buttery and soft. You just want something that's going to hold together in a pan once it's coated with eggs and butter. As I said, I'm using Triscuits. You could use any flavor Triscuits. I'm just using the original. The original recipe actually calls for saltines, and you could also use any other sort of simple white cracker like these, or like I got these sea salt flatbread crisps. I would just break them into smaller pieces, or a wheat cracker. You could use stone wheat thins, you could use wheat thins, and what you want to do is use just enough crackers that will cover the base of the pan. So my butter is starting to sizzle, so I'm going to turn down the heat because I'm not quite ready for that yet. And I'm going to start dipping my crackers. So you're just coating them almost like you would with like a chicken cutlet. And then you're going to put them into the butter, and you're going to sort of lightly brown and toast the egg-coated cracker. And you just want to spread them out to cover the base of the pan. And you want to try to shake off as much egg as possible because you're going to be adding the rest of the egg to the pan, and you want to make sure that you have enough. And what I love about this recipe is how it takes just 2 eggs, and you can stretch it to feed at least 2 people with a couple of crackers. And you know, once you've cooked this up, you can, so the person who wrote the recipe said that she likes to put chili crunch on it, but you could put hot sauce, you could put any kind of topping. If you happen to have salad, you could put like salad greens on top. It's given those just eggs and crackers and butter, it's a pretty versatile, pretty forgiving recipe too. Now, there is one sort of moment of daring do with the recipe, which I will show you. And I'm just giving you a little heads up that if it doesn't go right, it's okay if the cracker eggs don't stay in one piece, because I've had that happen and it might happen today. So let's see. All right, so I've got my crackers in the pan, and I want them to toast a little bit. I'm going to use a wooden spatula for this part. So I'm going to flip them over. So you want them to lightly brown on both sides before you add the rest of the eggs. Okay. If you don't have a nonstick pan, you can totally use like a seasoned cast iron pan. Basically any pan you like that you think the eggs are not going to stick a lot to. All right. Okay, we're almost there. this is a little extra step that I've added to the recipe of cooking the crackers first. Because I think okay, I'm going to turn the heat down here for a sec. So I got it about medium. Okay, here we go. So as I'm pouring the eggs all around because you want them to spread throughout the pan. And in fact, I'm going to tilt the pan a bit to make sure that you get all the corners, kind of like you do with a crepe. All right, and now we're going to let the eggs kind of toast on the bottom, and then comes the little kind of daring moment where you have to flip it all. If you don't want to flip it all, you can, and I'm not going to call this cheating, but you can get around that by just putting a lid on the pan and waiting until the top of the eggs are cooked through. Or if you wanted, you could also just like quickly stick it under your broiler, and that way you don't have to deal with flipping. But I'm going to try to flip it, and so I hope you guys will all like knock on wood for me. Let me see if it's ready to go. Okay, you just want it to be a little toasty on the bottom and solid enough that it's going to sort of somewhat hold together while you flip it. Okay. I'm grabbing implements because I'm getting nervous, as you can see. Okay, now this is going to hold together. Let's see. I'm going to turn off the heat for this moment just so that I can lower use this to help support. Oh yeah, okay, there we go. You see, there we go. So we've flipped the dish, and the eggs and the crackers are nice and brown, and the heat is off, and I'm just gonna let the eggs on the bottom cook through, and that'll probably take, actually it's probably just about done now. And then all you do is slide it onto a plate, and then you can cut it into wedges if you want, or you can just dig right in, which is what I think I'm going to do. In fact, I forgot to get myself a fork, so I hope you'll forgive my using my fingers, but here we go. Cracker eggs. So good, so good. It's really hearty. I highly recommend cracker eggs. So I'm Amanda Hesser for Today Foods Cooking in Pajamas. Thank you guys so much for having me, and take care out there.